So I'm Dr. Roanna Gray, one of the partners at Thornfield Medical Group, and this is my daughter Jasmine, who's very kindly agreed to have a chat with me about her experience having a smear and going to colposcopy afterwards. So Jaz, how did you feel when you first got your letter inviting you for your smear?
Well, obviously I was expecting it because I was almost 25, but I was definitely quite nervous. I think, you know, people have a tendency to kind of make it sound like it's really dramatic, and yeah, so I think I definitely built it up in my head a little bit. But
was that partly being a bit embarrassed and sort of an intimate examination?
Yeah, I've never really had any kind of examination down there before, so I think it was just fear of the unknown, really.
And I think you'd had the HPV vaccine at school.
Yes.
So were you expecting it all to be a smooth sailing process and it'd be fine?
Definitely. I just thought I'd had those when I was a teenager, so I was just going to have a clear result and it would all be fine.
So tell me what happened when you had your smear done.
So the smear itself, it was absolutely fine. The nurse was lovely. I just, you know, it was just a quick appointment. She reassured me, explained everything. I felt quite covered, and it was just a quick little procedure that was not even uncomfortable. It was nothing like what I built it up to be in my head.
And the actual embarrassing part's only seconds, isn't it? When the speculum's in, the bit you think, oh, that's a few seconds.
Yeah, and you cringe a little bit, but it's just that it's done. That's it.
Yeah. So you got your letter after that, and what did it say?
So I got a letter back quite quickly, actually, saying that I needed to be referred to colposcopy because I had moderate to severe changes.
Okay, and then you went for your appointment at the hospital really quite fast, wasn't it?
Within like a week or two, literally, and it was definitely nerve-wracking. I think I built it up in my head to be this huge thing, but then, to be fair, I was quite surprised when I spoke about it at work with some of the girls. Looked like quite a few had said they'd been called back to colposcopy as well, which I wasn't expecting because obviously you never had been, a lot of my friends hadn't, so that was reassuring, but it was still scary.
Yeah. And what was it like when you were there? What did they do?
So obviously it was quite nerve-wracking being in the waiting room. I've never really been to the hospital before, but the nurse, again, so nice. She explained everything beforehand. And I was in for some punch biopsies. So yeah, she let me get changed, and then I had to get into the chair and put my legs in the stirrups, and she inserted the speculum and a camera, so it was all up on the screen, and it was really nice that I could have you there as well. That was reassuring. But the actual procedure itself was minimal, really. It was really quick. It was nothing more than just feeling like a quick period cramp, and then she popped a tampon in. I had a pad on for about a week, but I didn't have any bleeding really, just a tiny bit at the start, but it was fine.
And she was saying there that obviously the HPV vaccine is fantastic, gives you a good chance of not getting HPV, but actually you still can, and you still need to have smears despite having HPV vaccine like you've done.
Yeah, which obviously I didn't think would be the case.
And she mentioned as well, didn't she, that how sad it was for her son was that she was seeing girls who had ignored their letters for smears and are coming in with symptoms and actually already had cancer. So it was really quite sad. But I also like the fact that she pointed out very clearly that you didn't have cancer or anything like it.
Yeah.
You had these little cells that needed to be sorted out, and it would be curative and absolutely fine.
Yeah, because definitely I'm dramatic. I'd fully told myself I had cancer.
You were Jade Goody, weren't you?
Yeah, in my head I was, and it's scary, definitely. I think fear of the unknown and everything, but obviously she totally reassured me, and I knew that wasn't the case at all.
So after that was that punch biopsy, what happened next?
So about a month or so after, I got a letter back from them saying that they'd reviewed my biopsies, and then they discussed it with a board meeting, and that they actually thought I did have severe changes with my cells. So I needed to come back in for some further treatment. So again, very quickly had an appointment to go back and have a loop biopsy. It was the same nurse, same experience really. She was lovely. It was just a little bit more extensive. She did inject some anaesthetic, which again I barely felt. It was no more than when you go to the dentist and have that done, which was good though, because then I didn't feel the loop biopsy at all, and it was over and done with really quickly. She put tampon in again for me, and then the healing was a little bit worse that time. I had to abstain from sex for a month and have a pad on pretty much every day and just make sure I kept it clean. But after that, it was fine. It really wasn't as bad as what I thought it was going to be.
I think you're now back on the normal recall, aren't you?
Yeah, so 6 months after that, I then had to go back for a smear just to make sure they'd got everything, and that result came back perfect, and yeah, back to every 3 years now.
Fantastic. So what would be your advice for any young girl that's getting her letter through, who's thinking, I'm going to put that in the bin, or any lady who's been before who thinks I don't need to keep going for my smears? What would your advice be for those people?
Well, I think you need to think about people like Jade Goody. Like, it's, you know, it's so easy to just go and get a smear. It takes, with the appointment's like 5 minutes, but you're actually, the actual the procedure itself is 2 seconds, and it's not worth not doing it and then having to go through what some of these women do when they're actually diagnosed with cancer.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Jasmine.